I would murder a child for some pasta right now. Probably gonna end up getting some pasta later. Is that Abramson? No, way too big.
GRPO. It fundamentally depends on this concept of an advantage, which is computed by adjusting the raw reward based on the average performance of the group. In other words, relative to the group. Say that you're considering a response, O of I, that got a really high advantage. Let's say the advantage is 10. And right now, your model has already assigned a higher probability to it compared to the old model by a factor of 1.2. So this ratio is going to be 1.2. And let's say we've set epsilon to 0.1. Now consider, what would this objective incentivize the model to do in this particular case? Hi, in this video I'll be going over GRPO, the training objective that was used to train DeepSeek R1. In particular, I'll be explaining every term in equation 1 of the R1 paper here. And more importantly, we'll go through some actual numerical examples which will tell us exactly what behavior the objective is incentivizing in the model under different scenarios. We'll be covering very important terms and concepts in modern reinforcement learning, like the advantage, and how that differs from the reward or correctness, what a reward baseline is and why we need it, the fundamental differences between supervised learning and reinforcement.
This is just a 2D vector, right? I don't know what E is, maybe that's like a... I don't know. It's such a clean paper as well, holy fuck. GRPO. Wait, am I stupid or saying that J is equal to this times this? Or it has to, right? is some sort of average of... I don't know. A GP sample of group outputs. Okay.
Reinforcement learning. So why do we need these monstrous looking objective functions in the first place? In general, a lot of important concepts that you'll encounter again and again in the future if you ever work with reinforcement learning. So let's get started. The first thing we see in this objective is this expectation here, which just means an average. So this is saying that the average is going to depend on one or multiple random variables that we're going to sample in some way. So that's the question Q and responses to that question from the language model, O of I in the curly brackets here. And the quantity that we're averaging, so the numbers that we're going to average out, is expressed as a function of those random variables. So that's this expression here. It tells you, given a single sample of Q and O of I, compute this value, which sort of describes the score or reward that the language model got for that question. And given a lot more of those samples, we're going to average out all of these values or scores that you computed for each sample. And that's going to be the overall objective that we're trying to maximize. And this is written in an unconventional way because typically the Q and O of I are going to be written in subscript, and then the individual terms that we want to compute the average of, we're going to put inside the square brackets. But here the Q and O of I are put inside the square brackets, and then the individual terms are just kind of pushed to the side without square brackets. But that's how it appears in the paper, so we're sticking with it. So what this means is that first, we'll need a question from our training set. The first term here means I'm just going to sample a question randomly from the training set. Then, given that one question, I'm going to sample capital G different responses from the language model. That's what these curly brackets are saying. It's a collection, or group, of responses. How many members are in this group? Capital G. So far we have a question, and G different responses for that same question. And pi theta here signifies your language model with parameters theta. And pi theta of capital O given Q is just a way of saying the distribution of all possible responses, that's capital O.
Jonas Vingegaard absolutely smokes Tadej Pogačar in this TT, having us reading the results like Remy Cavagna. As a reminder, 10 seconds separated Vingegaard and Pogačar before this 22-kilometer time trial from Passé to Combloux. Very difficult TT. Over 600 meters elevation gain, more elevation gain per kilometer than the Planche de Belfi hilly time trial, that the famous one where Pogačar.
This is our solar system.
Hey, are you single? I'm a matchmaker. Give me a call if you want to meet somebody.
I deserve someone who fulfills all of my criteria.
Nothing over 20 BMI.
I don't want someone who likes cats.
I'm trying to settle.
I promise you're going to marry the love of your life.
How many marriages are you responsible for now, Lucy?
9. If the girl asks for a call, drink of water, with a salary over 500 grand, you deliver.
You're the matchmaker. You want a drink?
Sure. Coke and beer.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, John.
Definitely didn't expect to run into you tonight.
I missed you.
Yeah, you don't even remember my face.
You will just get juked? Is it not... No Pedro Pascal? Oh, no Pedro Pascal.
Why does anyone even get married?
Tom Pidcock has decided to go himself and tell him whatever Tadej can do, I can do whatever. How's around this?
What a momentous attack. All the pressure, all the stress.
Should we go back to why joining this team or just... I guess it's all from gut feeling. You can do something you love to a much higher level than something that you don't enjoy. First and foremost, it's something that I love. No matter how much money you get paid or what anyone says, it doesn't change how hard you can go out and do your efforts or how hard you're willing to suffer in a race. That only can come from yourself.
All okay?
Yeah.
You need anything?
Maybe some rice cakes? Thank you. Ginger, the best flavour.
When you like riding your bike, that needs to be the main thing, that you wake up in the morning and you can't wait to go on your bike. You enjoy all the facets of being an athlete, of being a sports person. I think with Tom, I always saw, he's more than a bike rider, he's an athlete.
Personally, you had some experience with the new team. Can you sum this up for us and tell us how you feel personally?
Yeah, coming here, you know, fresh start, fresh motivation, and I think, yeah, just that extra energy to look at all the details. The performance side, I think here is really quite impressive. I think that's actually made a real big difference. I'm also a better rider now, and that's because of this team and the people in it who are now supporting me.
Also a different rider?
I wouldn't say different, I'd say more like I used to be.
Was it also a bit stressful, this new team, new situation, all these new things?
No, it's not stressful at all. I think it was, yeah, exciting.
That's the feeling I get, like the team believes in him, you know. They love him. And even big riders from other teams, like, look at him completely differently. He's back to his normal, he's Tom Pidcock again. Oh, it's a new era. This is gonna change. Shiny eyes, excited to race.
Bro, Pidcock is about to be a very good cook. When he pushes so hard down the descent tomorrow that everyone else falls, and he takes the easy win, I'm just saying.
Happy.
Pidcock puts on the power now. The rider from Q36.5. Look at the injection of pace from Tom Pidcock. All the pressure, all the stress, all those moments where Pidcock...
He's about to be a very good cook. Jeg er klar over at han er sånn, det er som et nestmester, ikke sant? Etter, of course, the gods.
Wasn't believed in. He has now put it all on the pedals and he is going to fire his...
Altså, i år må han være nest-favorite, er det ikke? Kanskje... Jeg må sprinte litt høyere. Midt på Midgård propaganda. Winning no-name races. Okay, that carryover points. Det telles ikke. Mikkel Landa. 18, virkelig? Virkelig? Poengforskjellen her. Han har 12 poeng. Så Philipsen har 5. Men altså, Pogacar har faktisk vært mer enn Philipsen Evenepoel til sammen. Det står jeg bak, faktisk. Hvorfor er han her så høyt oppe? Det er 7 Prem Games. Jeg må få 25 på. Alle better? Nei. Hva faen er ratingen her, egentlig? Det er sikkert å ha dobbelt så mye poeng. 0 kødd. Akkurat nå har jeg tatt Pogacar. Jeg tenker faktisk Pogacar er mer verdt enn Evenepoel og Vingegaard til sammen, faktisk. De er sikkert ikke mye verdt. Var på CS, ok. Good shit. Ja, Pidcock i år. Hvordan er Pidcock? Det er en sånn relativ greie. Hvor mye det har økt i år, i forhold til, kanskje. Ja, poeng hentet inn etter januar, 1. januar.
Way to the finish line to take a huge victory for Q36.5.
Indian ispenn for hvert dekk. Ja, det er egentlig vanlig pris da, to be fair.
If you're enjoying it, you can suffer more, you can...
Har bonus da, 6-1. Ja, det brukte det, ok.
Work harder, you can put more time in. It's not rocket science, it's a bit more complicated than that.
1 kilometre of racing to go. Matteo Moschetti of Q36.5 gives them the stage win, and Tom Pidcock wins the overall. What a finish to the Alula Tour.
The team aspect is so important. It builds and brings up everybody. I guess rising tide lifts all boats.
But it's all for Fabio Christian,
Good luck.
who takes his first ever professional victory. And Q36.5's meteoric rise to the top continues.
That's unique, and that's once in a lifetime you can be part of something like this. And every step up in his career will be kind of going hand in hand with the growth of the team, with the level of the team that's growing up. I think, yeah, the opportunity is having a growth together.
You know, the energy I feel from everyone, it's like the whole team giving me such a warm welcome. That sense of kind of responsibility, it's a privilege, I guess. Pressure is a privilege.
I think the energy this year is different. You can feel it, you know, within the team. You've got a certain rider named Thomas Pidcock. Might have heard of him. He's done all right in the past in this race, so I think we'll see some nice things come Saturday.
See you tomorrow. Let's give a warm welcome to Q36.5.
I think it's definitely one of my favourite races of the year, that's for sure. Yeah, the romance of this race, like the other classics, it's it makes it that extra special, and coming into that arena, you know, solo first, that was an amazing feeling. So yeah, to have that again would be pretty special.
A lot's changed with you, new team, and you seem like you're storming into 2025.
I know I'm in good shape. I'm gonna you know, do everything I can tomorrow, try and win. I'll enjoy the dust, it'll be epic.
And do you still think that it's possible to beat Tadej Pogačar tomorrow?
Well, he's the favourite. We know that. He's will be difficult to beat, but I'm never going to say that I'm racing for second. Because as soon as you limit yourself, then you've already lost. So that's what I think.
So yeah, we have a really strong team here at the start. Confidence is really high for everybody. We don't have to be shy in the race or hide big goals, and we look forward to achieve them.
Exciting, for it's one of the most special races of the year. As a team, we need to be ready, and it's important. It makes a difference for Tom. Okay.
The goal is to be ahead of the game, and that's basically what we want. We want to go in a duel. We want to ride to win.
Tomorrow's going to be a shit fight, but we don't need to be afraid of all the, the other teams.
Exactly.
Don't take any shit from them, because we're right at the fucking front, not them. All right?
He's a champion, and champions only wants to win. And they work every day to win every single race. They will put a number on. It's as simple as that.
The expectation levels were extraordinarily high for this, the 19th edition of the Strade Bianche.
Tom Pidcock has decided to go himself and tell him what, whatever Tadej can do, I can do better.
Oh, how's about this? Oh, back wheel straight out from underneath him, and he's lucky. Oh, that's very, very lucky to have got away with that. Thumb screws are twisting here, and it's Tadej Pogačar is in control. Oh, look at this. Tom Pidcock is really being stressed out right now.
Allez, Tomac.
Come on, Tom.
I'm happy. That's a good step, but of course, in the end, he still attacked and rode off. So yeah, it's bittersweet.
I don't think I've ever made a wrong choice in my career so far, and this definitely is not a wrong choice. I think it's probably the best decision I've made. I'm full gas, and I'm not waiting for anybody. You're on board or on this train, or you're waiting on the platform. You're getting left behind.
Cool. Bro, I think Tom Pidcock has a better chance of winning tomorrow than Pogačar, honestly.
It's been 15 years since I had my one and only bike fit. Back then, I was in my prime. I was powerful, I was flexible. I was even aero, at least for the era. But lots of things have changed since then. People's positions on bikes have changed. I've changed as well. I'm significantly older, I'm significantly less powerful, and I'm probably less flexible as well. So I think it's time for an update. But before I get updates to my position, I wanted to give you all some context. This is how my bike looked after that one and only bike fit. It's my Cervelo, not from the Cervelo test team, but from Garmin Cervelo. And quite a traditional position for the time. It completely slam stem. In fact, they've even shaved the top of the headset off here to make it even more slam. 12 centimetres stem, a pretty big saddle to bar drop, as you can see. 175mm crank. Back then, I actually had pedals on the bike as well. And this thing felt fast. It felt aero, and it felt aggressive. In fact, it was so aggressive, I pretty much never got my arms on the drops. I was always up on the hoods. I think the drops were just too low to use. Since I stopped racing full time, I've pretty much just ridden bikes as they come out of the box. Now, this is my current amazing Canyon Aero CF SLX. I mean, obviously, I've chosen the correct frame size for my height, which is an L, and my saddle height is adjusted to be the same as it was before, so about 80 centimetres. But beyond that, the stem length, the handlebar width is what it came with. I haven't adjusted the stem height either, so as you can see, it's not quite as slam as it used to be. I haven't adjusted the hoods in any way in terms of where they are on the bars or what height they are. I haven't even chosen a specific model of saddle here. Reason being, I've just not been riding enough to warrant that level of tinkering. When I have ridden, I've been comfortable enough, but I haven't really needed to think about aerodynamics or how comfortable I would be if I rode for 6 hours. But then that's about to change. For those of you who don't know, this June, I'm riding 350 kilometres from Manchester down to London, raising money for the Ambitious About Autism charity in the process. If you'd like to add your own donation, incidentally, we'll leave a link in the description below this video. Anyway, it's likely to be in excess of 14 hours of riding time. Not at high speed though, and as such, my main priority is going to be comfort. How do you get comfortable when you're older, less flexible, and less in need of being aero? Well, that's where ID Match comes in. And so ID Match takes into account your body measurements, as well as your flexibility and any pain that you're currently experiencing on the bike, before adjusting the bespoke bike in real time until it's found the position most optimal for you and your goals. We partnered up with them in the past, Ollie's dialed in his position with them, and so I recently got some custom footbeds. So I thought I'd ask them if I could get both. Amazingly, they agreed. So I'm heading to the Beer Velo store in High Wycombe to meet up with Matteo Paganelli. Hey, thank you very much. I've not ridden a bike much in the last 10 years or so. What I'm hoping for today is I get into a position that's comfortable, but not giving away too much free speed. I've seen Ollie's video on this. It looks a fantastic piece of equipment, but talk me through the process. What are we going to go through?
We're going to do a simple process to find which is your perfect position and accessory configuration for your bike. In this way, we can find perfect comfort on your bike. We have also a tool that is the pressure mapping that will show you how you will sit on the bike, and in this way, we can really find which is your comfortable position. On the bike, do you have any discomfort or pain doing cycling or athletic activity?
Not loads, but I would say that around the shoulder parts here in towards the neck, after a certain period of time.
Yeah, like an hour or two?
Yeah, so I used to have it after probably 3 or 4 hours when I was riding full time, but now on the rides that I do, I'm finding that it's starting to bit more like a burning after around an hour.
Open your hands like this, look forward, go on the focus number 2. If you see, the software without using any marker is able to find all your body geometry. Yeah. So we found which is your, for example, shoulder width, your pelvis dimension, your arm length, right? And every information that can be useful to find which are the accessories and the portion of your body. So hands together, straight legs, and bend over as much as you can. Okay, good. But you have good flexibility. So you have 68, that is a very good position.
Oh, that's a good start.
So Daniel, let's go to measure your foot. So please put your left foot on the tool, on the foot meter. So your total length is 293, your first metatarsal is 215, and the width is 95.
The foot measurements allows the software to calculate the best position for your cleats to give optimal power transfer and comfort, as well as the best insole for the shape of your foot. So I recently did a video on how it all works. We'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to see more detail. The next test involves a single leg squat to determine if you pronate, supinate, or somewhere in the middle. And the results of this will also determine ideal cleat angle. So, you've measured my entire body, measured my feet, and how stable my ankle is. What are we seeing here now?
Yeah, so the software now is giving us the best characteristic of saddle, handlebar, crank size, position of the cleat, and also a foot that can match your characteristic of the foot. Right. So now we find which are the best model of saddle and handlebar to set on the smart bike, and also we set the cleat based exactly on how your foot is moving inside the shoe. Here we have now set on the smart bike the saddle, the handlebar, the crank, and now we check the cleat position. So we use this tool is measuring the position of the cleat based on the inside shape. So we find and we match your position inside.
Yeah, how far off am I?
So this is the center of the cleat. Yeah. Your foot inside the shoe is pushing on this line. So the best goal is to have the center of the cleat aligned with the center of your metatarsal line. So in this way, when you push with your foot inside, you have the cleat is exactly under it, and the transmission is vertical. The software suggests you are an XL2 footbed.
So this is a size, obviously.
XL2, yeah. XL2 it means that you need a length that is based on your arch, that is XL, so it's our size matching, and also a 2, that means that you need a medium arch to support your arch.
Okay. I brought in my Canyon Aero, the bike I've been using for the past year or so that Matteo could check the measurements I'm currently using. I'm curious to see how far away I've been from my optimal position.
This is the new pressure mapping system. We're going to match the sensor to your saddle that is suggested before based on your characteristic of the body, and then now we calibrate to where is the BRP of it. So in this way we know exactly the coordinate of your pressure on the saddle.
What is BRP?
BRP is the biomechanical reference point, so it's a line that has been decided like the average line for everybody to measure the bike and to find where is the position of your sit bones.
Yes.
We set the sensor on the bike.
I think I tend to sit quite far forward on that.
Let's see how this saddle lets you sit forward or backward, and see if you need any suggestion on how to use the property of the saddle.
The ID Match software allows you to choose what kind of fit you like, whether that's aggressive, classic, or perhaps more of a relaxed position, which they call a Gran Fondo fit. Now, I'm acutely aware that I will primarily need to be comfortable for a ride that will be 14 hours plus, but I do also want some free speed through aerodynamics, so I've decided to start with the Gran Fondo fit and then go from there. As I ride the ID Match, it will move millimetre by millimetre using its AI software to calculate a fit that will work for me. It's constantly watching and learning in real time how I personally behave on the bike. So, position does feel like it's changed a little bit, and you've been measuring and analysing the pressure on the saddle. Let's start with the position. How much different is it to the bike I've been riding?
The biggest adjustment is the handlebar, so it moves forward 1 centimetre, so probably you need a longer stem compared to your bike, and the saddle went back. So in a way, the software extended your body on the bike.
How much did the saddle go back?
8 millimeters more or less.
So a couple of centimetres longer in total?
Yes.
Okay.
So the software gave us the actual situation using this saddle, the SLR, and we can see that the balance of your body is exactly in the center of it. We needed to find and to understand if you need a different shape that maybe let this proportion also this information to be more aligned. We can set another saddle and we can see if this is better for you.
And there's quite a lot more pressure on the right side than the left by the looks of it.
Yeah, this can be maybe influenced by your actual posture on the bike. To fix it, there are different ways. Obviously, an orthopedic can help you to restabilize it or physio.
Initially, I had quite a lot of pressure towards the front of the saddle, so
yeah, that's not the best. Yeah, that's not the best. My suggestion is always to try to be habituated to sit as much as possible on the back on your sit bones to avoid any pressure on the nose. In fact, for example, I developed an information that is called the fit line. So this means that when you sit, you should see at least the nose of the saddle. So when you sit properly and you see the nose of the saddle, it means that your sit bones are in an area that is good for you.
Next, Matteo wanted to try on a different saddle to see how it affected my comfort, but also my position on the bike. Well, I felt like I was in a shorter position, but you just told me that I was in exactly the same position.
So the distance between the saddle and the handlebar was the same. What was changing was the filling of the pelvis on the saddle that was influencing your posture on the bike. So switching from the first to the second, your back was giving a different position, but your body is changing a lot. That's because the saddle is influencing your behavior.
And that's just the saddle?
Just the saddle.
Wow.
Because every saddle can give you a different feedback of the body, and even if you don't feel it, give you a different position on the bike.
Right, so this is the position that is apparently best for me, somewhere between the aggressive and the Gran Fondo. I've changed about a fair bit, so now I'm unsure of how different this is to the bike that I've been riding over the last couple of years. So I'll find out from Matteo.
We can see that the configuration of the canyon come out with a 100 stem, and if we choose it, the software tells us also how much spacer you should set on the bike.
Okay, so centimetre of spacers.
In the end, we go to the final report, and we have here all the resumed information of your report.
At the end of my time, Matteo gave me a full report detailing all the information I could possibly need, including the exact model of saddle that's ideal for me, my foot characteristics, and obviously all the bike measurements too. So with my new position, my saddle will be moving backwards by 8mm, whilst moving down by 3mm. My stem needs to be a centimetre longer, and whilst moving down by 3mm. My saddle will be moving backwards by 8mm, whilst moving down by 3mm. My stem needs to be a centimetre longer and 5mm lower. This was the most comfortable position that we found that lies between the Gran Fondo and the aggressive bike fits. The report also gave me the details of the saddle pressure mapping, which showed that I need to try and perch a little further back so that my sit bones rest on the wider part of the saddle. However, having sat further forward for the last 30 years, that might be easier said than done. Matteo also said that I could visit a physio to see if there's a way to address my imbalance when sitting on the saddle, which is something I'll look into soon. I come away from that bike fit feeling both pleased, but also relieved. I kind of had visions of dramatic changes to my position, given how long it is since my last bike fit and the age that I'm at now. The main changes were a slight tweak to my cleat position to improve comfort and power transfer, narrower handlebars at the front, a slight lowering of my saddle, but then the biggest change is an increase in my reach by 2 centimetres, so the distance from where I hold the handlebars to where I'm perched on the saddle. Stack height below the stem, though, remains the same, so in theory, I'm going to be both more comfortable and more aero, which sounds like a win-win to me. Next steps then, well, I'll get my bike into that new position, or I might be lucky enough to get a new bike, you never know. And then after that, riding it.
TJ and I are going to build a game in 7 days, only using Cursor and Lua. I know, can you believe Lua's a real
combination made in heaven.
One-based programming. I am so excited about that when it comes to game mathematics, but don't worry, we'll be using Cursor to do everything for us. Now, the game we're going to be building is a tower defense, my most favorite genre of all time. TJ, you love tower defenses?
I know, we've been talking about how much we both love Bloons TD, particularly 6.
We have literally never talked about that, and I do not like balloons. It is not a real tower defense. Warcraft 3 is the only tower defense there is.
Bloons TD 6 was first.
You can't just build a game in 7 days, okay?
No.
I don't care how talented you think you are.
It doesn't matter how many special guests you have.
No, we have several, by the way.
It doesn't matter how many devlogs you post every day.
Which we're going to be posting daily devlogs for the entire week so you can see the progress without having to tune into the entire live stream. But the most important part of the whole thing is we're going to be live from this tower right here, and we are going to live, breathe, and eat tower defense, and we will complete a game in 7 days.
See you live on Twitch.
But the one that I love the most
Bloons
was Q.
TD 6.
It's not Bloons. Bloons is not even a tower. Who? Chillin' money. There's such thing as being a blue collar. So we're gonna have exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, totally.
Nice catch. Slow him down. Stop is going to have the bosses. As they come to. Got him.
Oh.
Welcome to the big GCN Milano Sanremo preview show for 2025. This is Sai's favourite race of the year, but I've ditched him in favour of Connor, who's the only one of us who's actually raced the thing. Where did you finish? Halfway through the race?
No, I finished. I got to San Remo.
Yeah.
San Remo, I think it was just over 100, essentially.
No, I've looked it up, Connor.
Yeah.
134th.
There we go.
But a few minutes ahead of Jasper Philipsen, last year's winner. What could have been, eh, mate?
Should have stuck at it.
Should have done.
Well, debatable. But anyway, coming up, not just 1, but 2 previews, because for the first time in 20 years, there's going to be a women's race as well.
Indeed.
Oh my god, I'm fucking tired.